Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pastor Bruce. Welcome to amvoice.net and One Man's Voice. Today is February 24th, 2018. And after a long week of the bout with a flu and a cold, finally getting back onto my perky self, I guess you could say. I've watched the news, listened to some of the arguments that are out there. I mean, it's absolutely a joke, people. You really have to, you got to take this stuff and say, what the heck is going on out there? We know the corruption in the Democratic Party, the corruption with Hillary Clinton and with James Comey, with Loretta Lynch, with Maxine Waters. We know the corruption of the Democratic Party that's coming up with this Democratic answer to the Republican response to the FISA warrants. We know the corruption is there. We're doing nothing about it because they have you believing that the Democratic Party is the best party out there. And it isn't, people. I have to go back in years and look and research and find out my answers to what I'm talking about. And I can tell you the Democratic Party does not care about the people of America. If they did, they'd want to build a wall. If they did, they'd want to reduce immigration into this country of individuals who are not qualified to work in this country. We are down at one of the lowest levels of unemployment that we've ever been at for since the 1970s. And you know what the problem is? We have jobs and people aren't qualified because we've downplayed our educational system to dumb down our students so that they either just barely graduate high school or don't graduate, or they go into college and drop out of college and wind up with a bill that they don't need, and they've got no way to pay for it. They're running around on welfare and food stamps. Why? Why aren't the American people being trained? And we have to go back to 1973 when they put the abortion law into effect. Over 30 million abortions in this country of American citizens who could have grown up, become educated, gotten good paying jobs. Yet we kill them off before they even have a chance. And then we turn around and deny qualified people to come into this country. And while Nancy Pelosi and her brainwashed staff sit there and promote opening the borders and allowing uneducated people to come in to pick cotton and to pick the fruits and to do the housework and to do the gardening, what's happening to the high-paying jobs? They're not here. And if you don't have enough people to fill the jobs, what do? You send the jobs elsewhere where the people are at, taking jobs away from this country. Now, yeah, you may have one job that's $90,000, but you need at least 5 or 6 jobs to cover that one job. The accountants, the bookkeepers, the receivables clerks, if it's manufacturing, the shipping clerks. That one person might make $90,000, but look how many other people are hiring. Let's talk about the idiocy of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, her brains have gone. They really have. I don't care what people say. I'll say my mind. She's an idiot. She is a real idiot. When she sits there and says to a family that's struggling along to pay their bills and to make ends meet, and they get $1,000 bonuses that they just got crumbs, and well, that's compared to the corporate. Well, the corporate's getting money and they're giving it out to their people. And that, in some cases, could mean millions of dollars. It's not a tax cut for them, or a tax break. And then, as I told Jesse Waters when he brought up the fact that during the Obama administration, people got like $2,400, and our people only got $1,000 under President Trump. And I wrote him and I said, Jesse, stop what you're talking about and listen to what you're talking about. Because what you're saying is a bonus is equal to a tax break. And it isn't. A bonus is extra money. And then the tax breaks are going to come down where people are going to sit there and get more money in their paychecks. So that $1,000 could be close to $4,000. A bonus plus a tax break. People are far better off. Now today I just got back from American Home Furnishings. I picked up a piece of furniture that I had ordered. And I had to wait over an hour for them to pick it out of the warehouse and deliver it to my car. An hour. Why? That's how busy they were. With tax season and the tax breaks coming out and the tax checks coming out and the bonuses coming out and people getting pay increases, they're out there spending their money. I've never seen American Furniture Warehouse so active as I did today. That's a great sign. It really is. Because there's hundreds of employees at that American Furniture Warehouse. In the showroom, working to sell. In the back, the pickers and the ones that are helping people as customers. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, you might have one $80,000 job, but look at all of the other jobs that go along with it. But if you can't fill that $80,000 job or the $70,000 job, if you can't find the people that do the work for you, what do? You move your country out of the United States to a country that will give you the people to do it. And that's wrong. It really is. So now we have to sit there and say, what are we going to do? How are we going to get educated people in here? Well, first and foremost, stop teaching socialism and communism. Stop feeling about your feelings. It all started years ago when they sat there and they said, oh, there's no losers. Everybody's a winner because they played. Well, in essence, that's true. Everybody who plays is a winner. But they lose. There's only one winner at the end of the day. And everybody else are losers. What do you want to do? Do you want to be a loser for the rest of your life? Or do you want to work hard and get the education and the training you need to become a winner? That's not what they're teaching in school. They're teaching, well, it's okay. It's okay. Everybody's a winner. No, they're not. And they're seeing it when they go out there into the corporate world and they try to get jobs and they say, you're not qualified. Or you don't have the education we need. Or you don't have the experience that we need. And they're going, well, wait a minute, that doesn't matter. I should still get the job. Because I'm a winner. I've always been a winner. Oh, you've been on winning teams. Well, no, some of my teams have lost. Then you're not always a winner. I mean, it's absolutely sad how we have dumbed down our society and we have taught our children to be nothing but a bunch of wimpy children, wimpy crybabies. And those wimpy crybabies are in college doing what? Whining and crying about their safe zones, their free speech zones, that we can't listen to conservative zones. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what we've done to our educational system. Now, as I've pointed out years ago, I'm surrounded by educators. And whether it's a girlfriend or whether it's a family member, I've been around educators all my life. And because of that, I hear from their side. There are teachers that want to teach. There are teachers that want to do the job. But they're not allowed to because the administrators are forcing them to do what the National Education Society, the government-controlled education, wants them to do. And either you do it or you get fired. Plain and simple. What are you going to do about that? Keep your mouth shut? No. Students today, if they're not getting the education that they deserve to get, they should be suing the school systems. And let's talk about school systems where we have armed guards. They're protecting the school, and some clown, moronic idiot comes in, shoots up the school, and the security stands outside and does nothing. Now, what does that tell us? That tells us first and foremost that the people who say guns kill are wrong because the person had a gun. And as a matter of fact, I heard there were 4 policemen that were out there, had guns. And those guns remained in the holsters of the police outside. They didn't kill anybody because if they did, 17 of those students probably wouldn't have been killed. And the others that were injured probably wouldn't have been injured. So they call the policemen cowards for not going inside. Well, as a policeman in the military, we're trained how to go in. We're trained what to do. We're trained to make sure that if we go into a building, we're going to protect ourselves. You had a fire team, 4 cops, should have gone in and gone after this kid, and they didn't do it. The question is, now understand this, it's a Democratic-controlled area, people. It's Democrats in the school system controlling the school system, and the cops weren't going into the school. Why? Ask yourself why. Do the Democrats really care about the children of this country? No, because if they did, they wouldn't have fought so hard for abortion. That's right. They don't care about us. They never did, never will. And now they want to bring on ex-military people to run for different positions in Congress. They're not talking about making changes. They're not talking about making America better again. They're not talking about anything. They're attacking Donald Trump. Says, let's use the military to become part of the Democratic Party so we can take back the House and the Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, if you fall for that, you're as stupid gets. You really are. Just because they're a military member doesn't mean that they're out there for the best. And we've seen that. I left the American Legion because the American Legion supports the Democratic Party. Sorry, I don't support the Democratic Party, and I'm not going to work with any organization that supports the Democratic Party because under Clinton, we lost a lot of funding to take care of the things that we needed to take care of. That's Democrats, people, not caring about the military, not caring about the protection of this nation, while at the same time didn't say anything about closing up the border and allowed illegals to come into this country. Now, I have to go all the way back to Bush because Bush, he's a globalist too. When Bush, Clinton, and Perot were running for the presidency, someone said, who do you think would be the best president? And a voice in the back of the crowd said, doesn't matter. And we said, what do you mean it doesn't matter? And he said, they all belong to the Trilateral Commission. And the Trilateral Commission wants a one world government, wants open borders. And they're globalists. And isn't that what Hillary Clinton wants? Isn't that what Obama's trying to do when he didn't shut down the border? And so even Bush allowed people to come into this country going, well, we could use the Spanish vote. Not if they're illegal. You can't use the Spanish vote if it's illegal. Hello, wait a minute, time out, unless you're in California. Because in California, they're giving illegal aliens driver's licenses and giving them the power to vote in this country for Democrats. And so you're going to see a spike in Democrat votes in California because of that. I certainly hope before the next presidential campaign that California splits to old California and new California. Because the old California is going to take over and the new California is going to go downhill. It's going to be nothing but Scum City, as it is already. Don't go to San Diego or Los Angeles or San Francisco because they're filthy. They're garbage. Illegals, MS-13, live in the streets. They're killing each other out there. They're with drugs. They're urinating in the streets. They're defecating in the streets. They're throwing their needles into the streets. Who cares? Who cares? That's a liberal society. We'll do whatever we want to do. And they're getting away with it because the government, which is a Democratic-controlled state with liberals in the offices, are doing nothing to stop it. And California, the most beautiful state of this nation, has gone down to being nothing more than a third world country, equal to a third world country. And they've got a bigger budget than third world countries. So how is it that they're doing so bad? And you got who coming out of there? You got Barbara Boxer. You got Nancy Pelosi. You got Dianne Feinstein. You got Maxine Waters. preaching open the borders, preaching open the borders, preaching cut the grass so they can't hide in the grass. We don't need to build a wall, just cut the grass. I mean, it's absolutely sad. And thanks to states like California, Washington, and Oregon they're having sanctuary cities, New York that has a sanctuary city, that illegals are getting into this country, and that's exactly where they're going. And they're given driver's license, and they're going to be allowed to vote. And they're going to vote for Democrats because the Democrats are allowing them to do this. And the American people are going to suffer. It's time we fight back. It's time we say enough is enough. And the first and foremost way to do that is to get the Democrats out of Congress. Deplete their numbers to the point where they say, you better start paying attention to the American people and doing what's good for the American people and not what's good for illegal aliens that come into this country. And stop the sex trade trafficking, which is coming across our borders, and the drug trafficking that's coming across our borders. They want open borders. The Democrats want all of this to come into our country, to bring us down to be nothing more than a third world country. And if you don't believe it, look at the state of California. It's exactly what they're doing out there. In New York, under a socialist running the city of New York, he's done the same thing to New York City. It's gotten worse there than it did get better. It's sad what socialists are doing to this country. And you educated, supposedly educated, college students listening to socialist and communist teachers teach you that democracy is the worst way to go. Yet democracy made a mark in this world, became the strongest nation in the world faster than any other nation, and has maintained that strength over the years. And it's only from inside our own country since World War II that we have been attacked, and our system of life, our way of life, is being destroyed. And we go back to World War II, when the leader of Russia was at a party and talking to Patton. Patton said, I wanted to just keep right on going, but the president wouldn't let me. I wanted to take Russia and destroy communism in Russia. And the Russian leader looked at him and said, don't worry about it. He said, we're not going to attack America. We will defeat you from within. How do you get defeated from within? You get moronic idiots like Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters to sit there and diss the American way of life. To sit there and say it's more important for uneducated aliens to come into this country so that they can have people picking cotton and picking fruit and whatever else they pick and cutting their grasses and doing all of the menial tasks that no American wants to do anymore. Because why? Why won't Americans do those tasks? Because they're told, you're better than that. You're better than that. You shouldn't be out there picking cotton or picking grapefruits or picking apples or anything. No, you're better than that. Oh, I don't have a high school education. It doesn't matter. You're better than going out there picking that stuff. Go on welfare. Go on food stamps, and don't bother getting an education. We'll take care of you. That's Democrats. And what a lot of lazy people out there are doing is saying, we want Democrats because we don't want to work. Even though we're healthy and well and we can, even though we have a brain and we can, we're not going to get a better education. We're just going to live off of the fat of the land. It's time to stop it. It's time to say enough is enough. The only way to do it is to get the Democrats out of office. And to get the Democrats out of office, you got to get Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer out of office as well. The two leaders that came out at the beginning of the 2016 year and said, we're going to be obstructionists. They care about the American people, yet they didn't vote for the tax cut. They care about the American people, but yet every time the Republicans try to do something to make things better here in America, they don't vote for it. And that traitor, biggest traitor that we have, is John McCain. He had the opportunity to get rid of Obamacare. And for 7-8 years, he talked about getting rid of Obamacare. It was a bad plan. It was no good. We needed to replace the plan. For 7 years, he talked like that. And when it came down to it, he was the last vote, and he voted no. Keep it. He's a traitor to the Republican Party. He doesn't deserve another 4 years or another 2 years in office. And then you got that other senator from Arizona, Flake, which he is a flake. Here he is in office writing a book against his own party. In other words, he's not a Republican, he's a Democrat. And the only reason he got elected is because he ran as a Republican, because the state of Arizona doesn't like Democrats. So they run as Republicans, and they get in there and they attack the Republican Party. Flake is a flake. And he's leaving. He said he's leaving. Thank goodness. He tries to run for the presidency. He's not going to be able to make it. He really isn't. It's time the Republican Party started coming together and started uniting as one and saying enough is enough. Stop this phony investigation into the collusion of President Trump and the Russians and focus on the true collusion between the Russians and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. That's where the collusion lies. But they're not going to do that, are they? They're not going to do that. And because once they start putting the focus on them, and look what happened, all right? It's coming out. There's no collusion. So now more allegations against President Trump of rape and sexual harassment are coming out. Hello? This happened years ago. They've already talked about it. It's already been passed over once or twice. Now, Rosie O'Donnell's coming out saying he's a rapist. Prove he's a rapist. Prove it. Were you there, Rosie? Did you see the rape? Do you know for a fact that this occurred? Are you just speaking out of your opposite end and handing out a bunch of trash because you don't like the man? It's really sad what we've come to in this country. And it's time we started looking at the truth about what's going on. And if the Democrats truly wanted true government leadership, and I'm talking about the party, I'm not talking about the leaders. Look at Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the head of the DNC, brought it into bankruptcy, and where Hillary Clinton gave him $20 million to keep their heads from going into bankruptcy. But she took control of the DNC before she even ran for the presidency. So she's setting herself up to be president of the United States. And when she got in there, then they started talking to the delegates, don't go for Bernie, go for Hillary. Because Hillary's the one we want in office. And they manipulated it. And during the run for the presidency, Bernie Sanders came out and said this election is rigged. He knew it. And nothing happened. And then when it finally came out that they rigged it, Debbie Wasserman Schultz lost her position as the head of the DNC. And then because of the problems that were going on with Russia and the problems that were going on with her IT man, they confiscated her laptop. And she looked at the park police and said, "You will give it back to me. And I want it now." Like, who are you? You're a Florida senator. This is an investigation. I don't care who you are. If it was me, I would have told her flat to her face. There's no way. You'll get your laptop back when we're done with it. Up now, shut up and go on with your business. You see, these women think that they can run men into the ground because they're powerful women. They're not powerful. The only reason they're powerful is because men give them the power. Men don't argue with them. Yeah, okay, we'll take care of it. Don't worry. We'll do what you want us to do. But if men actually had a set of balls on them and would stand up and face women like they're supposed to and say enough is enough, we wouldn't have Warner out there sitting there saying that she's part Indian, 1/16 or something Indian, when there was no proof that she was. But who's going to argue with her? Oh, she's a powerful woman. No, she's not. She's a woman. No such thing as power. She only gets power because we give her power. Same thing with Hillary Clinton. She's not a powerful woman. I can sit there and tell her no right to her face. Give me the opportunity. Give me the opportunity to investigate Hillary Clinton. And give me the opportunity to question her. Because I tell you what, I'm not afraid of the Clintons. And I'll find out the truth. Because I'm not afraid of powerful women. I let them play their little game, that's fine. but I'm not afraid of them. And no man should be afraid of women. Sitting there, listen, you look at them on television, they got cleavage showing all over the place. They got short skirts on. They got their butts sticking out all over the place. And they walk around like sluts on televisions. They take their clothes off in front of the actors and the other actors and the cameramen and the sound crews. And they run around in their underwear. But they want equality. You don't see men doing that. Why? Because of the sexism in Hollywood wants to see the naked body of women. That's why. And it's sad what they're doing to women. But you can be empowered. Oh, yeah, we're going to have a porn star become a senator for the state of California. Oh, there was a porn star that ran, if you're not familiar with it, ran for the governorship one time. She's a porn star. No education. She's just a porn star. I don't even think she knew if she was going to win or not. She was just running for it. All right, now at least if we get a governor like that, we know that they're going to put their butts on the line. Probably they'll strip down and spread their legs on the desk and have everybody do whatever they want to them, saying, that's all right, just let me sign the legislations. And you think that's funny. You think I'm sexist. I'm not sexist, people. You want porn stars running the government? Do you want drug addicts running the government? Do you want socialists who don't care about your way of life that you're enjoying day after day after day to run your government, to take your freedoms away from you? Do you want this? If you do, you're insane. Look at California and look at New York City and look at the problems that they're having because of socialism and liberalism. And I said, and even Californians will tell you it's a socialist government out there. The money's going into the pockets of the politicians and the people are suffering. And the only ones who are getting away with anything are the rich actors and actresses. The rich movie industry, television industry. And Silicon Valley, that's where the money's all at. It's Silicon Valley, and they're the ones complaining that, hey, I walk outside and there are needles in the street. People have defecated on the street in front of their businesses. It's time to quit. Time to move out. Hey, down here in Arizona, we got a lot of space, people. A lot of space. But don't bring your democratic ideas down here. You stick to the Democratic Republic that's here. And you vote Republican. We're not going to put Democrats. And for you Latinos that are in the state of Arizona, you better understand it's the Republicans that are fighting for you. And if you turn your back on the Republican Party and put Democrats in office, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Well, listen, I spouted off enough. I've talked about Nancy Pelosi. She can come after me. I don't care. She's nothing more than a washed up old hag sitting there thinking that she's something important. And to me, she's nothing important. And the same with Maxine Waters. She's just a loudmouth Muslim. She may call herself a Christian. She's a loudmouth Muslim fighting to destroy this country. As soon as President Trump won the election, let's impeach him because he's not a Democrat. Let's impeach him. And you got, hey, listen, as far as I'm concerned, you don't like the way our country is. You don't like the Democratic Republic. You don't like the capitalist system that we have. Get out of the country. There's socialism all around the world. There's communism around the world. There's totalitarianism around the world. If that's the kind of government you want to live under, go live under it. But like back in the 1960s, a Democratic senator, I believe he was a senator, it's not, he was from the House, sat there and said that to black people. He said, if you don't like the way this country is, I will buy you tickets to go back to Africa. And nobody took him up on it. Why? Because you can't get any better than America. And yet, they're staying. And even though this Democrat said that, do you hear the Democrats saying, well, we didn't mean it? No, no, no. And what's happening? They're getting the Democratic vote. They're voting for Democrats. Even the Democrats don't want them. The Democrats If it wasn't for the Republicans, the Democrats would have never have passed the Equal Rights Amendments back in the 60s. And as I've said it before, if you go back to the 1930s, you'll see that those Equal Rights Amendments were also brought up by the Republicans in the 1930s, and the Democrats shot them down. The Democrats don't want black people equal to white people. They think they're the elitists. They think they're better than everybody else. They even think they're better than the white Republicans. It's sad, people, and you're voting for them. If you studied history, in the last 40 years, if you studied the history of this government, you would see the corruption within the Democratic Party. And you would see why you shouldn't vote Democrat. But you're too lazy, and they know that. And they're going to tell you what you want to hear because you're too lazy to pick up a book and read it yourself, or pick up Google and type in something that's going to defend what I'm saying. They know you're not going to do that. They're going to sit there and call me a liar. They're going to call me all sorts of different names. Because why? Because that's the only way they can win, is to denounce their enemy is something that is wrong. Well, listen, this is Pastor Bruce. Thank you for listening to me. It has been a whole week. Hopefully you'll return in tomorrow and listen to my Sunday sermon. God bless. Take care, and we'll talk soon.